Hello. So, here are a few things to think about. Who is ready to release anger? Who is ready to release hate? Who is ready to release any thoughts of revenge or resentment? I am. Hey guys, welcome to day 5 of the 23% challenge. This is Coach D coming at you again. Yes, so we all know what the 23% challenge is about. It is our, or shall I say, my approach to holistic healing. Yes, so of course, we're interested in learning how to live a healthier lifestyle, and we're also interested in learning how to become a better and greater version of who we currently are. So, ladies and gentlemen, today's talk is about forgiveness. Yes, that is right, forgiveness. So, this is Coach D's perspective of forgiveness. So, let's go ahead and dive in. What is Forgiveness Day all about? Well, once again, it's day 5. And so, it's an opportunity for me in particular to improve my spiritual wellness. As you guys are already aware, spiritual wellness is probably my favorite dimension of total wellness. It is the one that I most closely identify with. It's also an opportunity for me to forgive someone, or it could be an opportunity for me to ask for forgiveness. So, regardless of which way you want to go, whether you want to forgive someone or you want to ask for forgiveness, today is for you. Now, let's take a look at what forgiveness really means. Because again, oftentimes we use words and we don't quite know what they mean. So let's go ahead and pull out a textbook definition for the word forgiveness. Now, here are a few definitions that we can look at. To stop feeling anger towards someone who has done something wrong, to stop blaming someone, to cease to feel resentment against. It's also a decision to let go of resentment and thoughts of revenge. Now, here is something that we all need to understand, including myself, because I am going through this. This is real life. In your efforts to forgive, we must understand that during this process, we're not excusing the actions or the person. We're not condoning the person or the actions. And we're definitely not forgetting the person or what they did. So please understand, you're not excusing, you're not condoning, and you're not forgetting. It's more about you, or shall I say me, letting go of the anger, the resentment, the hatred. So in and of itself, this is part of the holistic healing process. So let's continue. Now, some people may be thinking, should I participate in Forgiveness Day? And I had to ask myself the same question. And when I paused and I thought about it, I had to, think about a few answers to a few questions. So, should you participate in Forgiveness Day? Well, let's figure it out. Do you harbor anger towards someone? Do you feel resentment towards anybody? Have you physically or emotionally harmed anyone? Are you resentful towards someone? Are you ready to release the anger and the pain associated with it? Do you hold grudges? Do you have thoughts of revenge? Are you ready to let go? Well, ladies and gentlemen, if the answer to any of those questions is yes, then yes, you definitely need to participate in Forgiveness Day. Now, one of my most favorite people in all of history is the late and great Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And here I have a quote. And he says that forgiveness is not an occasional act. It is a permanent attitude. So that's in direct sync with having an attitude of gratitude. I have to go back to that question that my colleague asked me the other day, which was, Coach D, do you ever get angry? And yes, I do have my moments just like everybody else. But what I'm beginning to realize about my personality and where I'm trying to move towards is to always have an attitude of gratitude and to always have an attitude of forgiveness. So having these two traits, or shall we say qualities, will help you not only live a healthier lifestyle, but it'll ultimately lead to you being more happy. Because in the end, isn't that what everyone wants? Everyone wants to be happy. Now, as far as the benefits, because some people may say, well, okay, so if I do this, right, what are the benefits? What am I going to get out of this? So why don't we go ahead and just discuss a few. Now, because of my event, I am particularly interested in some benefits more than others. So for instance, improve heart health. Yes, I got to keep my ticker happy. Lower blood pressure, which is very important. And of course, better sleep. Honestly, guys, some days, or shall I say some nights, I do have issues falling asleep or staying asleep. So if going down this path of forgiveness is going to help me sleep better at night, perhaps by releasing some negative energy that I have built up inside of my body, then great, I'm all for it. So let's talk about the details of Forgiveness Day. I decided to take a direct approach. Now, there is also an indirect approach to do this. The direct approach would be for you to tell the other person face to face. That's right. Go into the lion's den and be present in the moment. Now, I do understand that Forgiveness Day may be very, very difficult for some people. If today is difficult for you, you can take an indirect approach. Now, how do we do that? Well, you could simply write a letter to the person. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to read it to them, or you have to mail it to them, or email it to them. But as long as you can get your thoughts on paper, that can help release some of those feelings and thoughts of revenge and resentment and hate. You can also do a journal, okay? Or shall we say keeping a diary. That's another way to go from thought to paper. Another indirect approach could be talking to a therapist. If at any point these thoughts of revenge or hatred have led you to almost commit some type of harmful act, then you may want to talk to a professional therapist, someone that can listen to what you have to say, but offer advice contrary to what you want to do. And last but not least, one indirect thing that you can do is learn how to empathize. Now, again, this may not be for everyone, but empathizing simply means that you're able to see the situation from a different perspective. Now, what perspective is that? That's the perspective from the person who wronged or harmed you. You know, very often we come from our ego. And remember, the ego is a part of us that always wants to be right, that gets upset, that gets jealous, that is envious. And so we always come from a me perspective. Oh, look what he did to me. Oh, I can't believe she did that. I'll never forgive him or her for doing that. But if we're able to pause and come back to our center, then it is possible to empathize. It is possible to see it from their perspective. And so we no longer come from the ego. Now we can learn how to come from our spirit and maybe ask ourselves, well, how did I contribute to that situation? What did I do? What could I have done differently? Again, it always takes two to tango. So figure out how you can learn to empathize. In other words, see how you contributed to the event and try to see it from their perspective. Again, it may be difficult, but if you really want to heal, if you really want to be happy and you want to release this tension that you have in your body, then I highly suggest, I would love to encourage you to try to empathize. Because believe it or not, it is possible. I'm sorry. I'm going a little too quickly. So why don't we talk about what I did? All right, because this is the 23% challenge and it is about acting. Remember, execution is key. So what did I decide to do? Well, here's my story. Back in 2007, my mother passed away. And she left money. There was approximately $10,000 left, and that $10,000 was divided into three parts. Part for me, part for my niece, and part for a friend of my mother. Which leads to about each person getting about $3,300. Well, because my niece was a minor at the time, the money came to me. Now, to make a long story very short, I used the money and I did not give it to my niece Brianna. Now, that did weigh heavily on my heart. The reason why I didn't give it to her was because at that time I needed it. I was in not a very good emotional state, not in a very good financial state. So I took the money, and I didn't like the fact that I did that. So to, I guess, ease those thoughts and emotions of guilt, I decided to come up with a very clever way to repay my niece the money in which I took. So what I decided to do, and this was probably starting maybe late 2007, probably 2008, was I knew that my sister had given Brianna a cell phone. And so Brianna, once again, being a minor, she didn't have a job. And my sister was taking care of her cell phone bill. So I spoke to my sister and I said, you know what? Let me go ahead and take over the cell phone bill payments. I figured what I would do is keep track of the total amount that I owe her, which was about $3,300. And I would pay her cell phone bill in hoping to reduce the $3,300 debt. So that's what I did. It took me about 3 years of cell phone payments to pay down that entire portion of the inheritance, but I did it. But even though I did it, I wasn't completely satisfied. I still had moments, or shall I say feelings of guilt. Why? Because I never told Brianna why I was paying her cell phone bill. So today being Saturday, I decided to go ahead and do it. Now I wanted to take the direct approach and talk to her face to face, and I had called her and emailed her, and we had actually earlier this week I did that on Nature Day, and we had planned to meet at a place called the Japan Inn, but at the last minute she canceled on me. And so here I'm thinking, oh my God, my forgiveness is going to be ruined. But I said, you know what? Let me take a step back. And again, I never want to come from my ego. So I thought, you know what? Well, maybe she isn't quite ready to meet me for whatever reasons, because I do understand that she's young and she has a son now. And so, her life is a little busy. So maybe she can accommodate me the way in which I want her to. So let me meet her where she is. So I asked her, well, would a phone call do? Can she at least talk to me on the phone? And she said yes. So during the phone conversation, to be honest with you, I was very nervous. I really, really was. I mean, even though I'm talking to a relative, this is my niece, I love her to death, I was nervous. Why? Because there was uncertainty, there was apprehension, and there was still that feeling of guilt. And I never really knew how she would receive this information. So to make a long story short, She forgave me. I gave her all the details about the inheritance, about me paying her phone bill, but ultimately I wanted to share with her the reason why I paid the phone bill. And she understood and she forgave me. And I got to tell you that, during our conversation, I actually cried. It was because not only did I feel better, but of course, talking about my mom, that brought up memories as well. So with all those emotions going through my mind and through my body, it resulted in me actually shedding a tear. In the end, I am extremely elated that I was able to not only communicate my thoughts and my feelings, but ultimately she was able to forgive me and she accepted my apology. So, Brianna, I want to say thank you, and of course, I love you. So, let's not forget, we are still on the 7-day vegan challenge. Guys, please remember that the 23% challenge is 1 part vegan, 1 part wellness. So as we're going through all these days, right? Today is Forgiveness Day. We're still eating vegan. Yes. Now, I want to go ahead and give you guys a little more help as far as what to eat. Okay. Listen, when it comes to your vegetables, what I would focus on, and this is what I do, I focus on my favorite vegetables. Okay, and maybe I'll throw in a vegetable that I've never ever eaten before. So for me, I really enjoy putting frozen vegetables inside of my NutriBullet. So I'll do 1 cup frozen vegetables with 1 cup frozen fruit. That way, blended together makes an excellent smoothie, and it's cool when you drink it. All right, fruits. Okay, when it comes to your fruit, what I do is I eat my favorite fruit. I love a grapefruit. I love navel oranges, cantaloupe, strawberries, grapes. Love grapes. All right. So if at any point you're finding this to be a little difficult because you don't quite know what to eat, always fall back on your favorites. So if at any point you're like, oh my God, this is getting too difficult, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to eat, always fall back on what you really, really, really enjoy eating. So if for today all you want to do is eat your favorite vegetables, you want to eat your favorite fruits, you want to eat your favorite nuts, then go ahead and do that. All right? There is no right or wrong way to do this. Okay? But again, you do not want to eat any meat or animal products. Definitely no processed foods. And guys, please, no processed beverages. Okay? Excellent. If at any point you want to contact me, Coach D, write me an email. All right? I want to hear about your Forgiveness Day. I want to know if it was difficult. I want to know if it was easy. I want to know how the person received you. I want to know what is the result. How do you feel? Would you do it again? You see? So again, this is our way of healing holistically. So please send me an email. I really, really, really want to hear how things went for you. And once again, our take-home message is the same as always. Let's eat well, let's feel well, let's think well, and ultimately, let's do well. This is day 5 of the 23% challenge. Coach D coming at you. I'm signing out. Thanks for listening.